everyone, this is EstaRa with a message for you today. Today is Tuesday, May 2nd, 2017. Yes, I know, I haven't been on a video in some time. I think it's been at least 3 weeks, almost a month at this point. I have been pretty sick, and I will share that with you in just a moment. So, a lot is going on in the universe. We're getting ready for Mercury to go direct soon. I'm very excited about that because when Mercury is in retrograde, it always funks me out in the sense of I feel like revisiting some past stuff comes up, revisiting in my dreams, particularly all these old energies or people coming in, and I feel like it's like a final reset. So when Mercury was going direct and was getting ready to go retrograde, my guides had said to me very clearly, don't look at this retrograde as a negative thing, look at it as a reset. And I didn't really understand what they meant by that at that moment, and I was hoping to come back on to tell you more, but I ended up getting progressively sicker. And so I'll share with you in just a few moments what that was about. But anyway, the reset energy, we are resetting, and I actually feel from yesterday forward, the energy is getting lighter and lighter. You know, to be honest with you, I felt it over the weekend. It started to get lighter and lighter, but it's like I really feel like the reset happens. The visual they're giving me is like they're taking a, you know those old things that you shoot across the room with? Oh my God, a slap? I don't know what they're called. Oh my goodness, I can't think right now. But you pull them back with a rubber band and then you let it go and it shoots forward. I feel like we're at that space. We're getting ready to shoot forward. And I feel like in the next week, that's what you're going to encounter is a lot of fast-moving forward stuff. So literally, you know, Mercury retrograde has been pulling back, and it's kind of like reevaluating what else needed to go and what was showing itself that was a block for you. And I felt like this Mercury retrograde was really powerful in realigning us into who we are, right? So it's bringing us back into that quality of who we really are. And one of the things that I noticed is that the divine masculine particularly was really in the weeds, you know? And so I think of the weeds as being like all this energy being around them of all the stuff that they need to work through and figure out. And I feel like they've been really dipped in that energy. And I feel like the divine feminine has been in the energy of her own weeds, to be honest with you. The divine feminine has been looking at her power and recognizing where she has become powerless. So the last few weeks, it's been all about discovering where in your life you've been powerless as the divine, if you are the divine feminine in the relationship, and you're recognizing where you are needing to step into your power. And one of the things that I really want to share, with the powerlessness thing. So when I say that, I'm sure a lot of you are like, no, I'm not powerless. I'm taking back my power. I feel very powerful. But here's the interesting thing: is all of us are very powerful. We all are. We are. You are. I am. Everyone on the planet is. But we forget really all that power when it comes down to, especially in this twin flame relationship, when it comes down to this and we're waiting and we're in this phase of what do we do next? How do we get there? We almost render ourselves powerless, not realizing we actually have more control over it than we think. And I think that's what this Mercury retrograde season has been about. And I feel like with regard to rendering ourselves powerless, the way a lot of us do it is through allowing the doubt to creep in. And so when we're doubting our union and we're doubting our twins' ability to come forward and do what they need to do, we're doubting ourselves as well. We're doubting God, the God within us, because we're God. So we're doubting the God within us, and we're doubting that our love is real, or we're doubting that the love that we feel for our beloved, we're doubting all of that. So that's how we render ourselves powerless. I'm sure there's other ways that many of us have done it, not using our voice, not speaking our truth, being afraid to try something new. There's many ways people have rendered themselves powerless, and I understand that. I'm bringing up today the specific thing of doubt, because a lot of us have doubted, a lot of us have not, and I'm guilty of that myself, because I've had moments where I'm like, I'm ready to give up. This is crazy. This is ridiculous. And I think it's funny. It came really strong at the beginning of the retrograde. And so I realized that's really what I needed to work on. All of that being said, so let's bring you up to speed with where I'm at and what has happened. So last month, it's been over a month, it's almost like 6 weeks now, like maybe 5 weeks. I had done we did the Twinflame group meditation, which was wonderful, in April. And then we did one in March. And so the one in March was when I heard from my beloved. And he literally called me like an hour after the meditation, which was really cool. And his first words to me were, "I think I feel you more and more." And I was like, "Oh, really? That's beautiful. What did you feel?" And he's like, "I just felt your warmth. I felt you around me." And it was really cool because in that meditation, in that particular Twin Flame group meditation, we did clearing, and it was really powerful. And that is available for sale if you're interested in buying that. You are totally welcome to buy it. You just have to contact me directly and say like the Twin Flame meditation from March of 2017, and I will be happy to send that to you. I'm only going to charge $11 for it. For the recording. It's very powerful. I highly recommend it. But anyway, he felt it, and I thought, wow, that's really cool. So we had this beautiful conversation, this wonderful conversation, actually. And I was conveying my truth to him, how I need him to be truthful to me, and for me, I need communication with him where he doesn't hide and where he doesn't run away. I need to be honest and share my feelings and my fears. And one of my fears was trusting him to, follow through on everything he says, because one of the things my twin hasn't done is followed through. So I asked for his energy. I asked him to be, fully present in the conversation. And it's funny, he really was. And at the end, right before he had to go, he's like, "I'm going to call you later. I'll talk to you later." And he goes, "I can't wait to talk to you again." I said, "Okay." And at the end of the call, right before he hung up, he goes, "Did you see the movie? Have you seen the movie La La Land?" And I said, "No, I haven't." And he said, "You really need to see it. It's amazing." I said, "Really? What's so amazing?" He's like, "It's beyond incredible." I'm like, "Okay, well, I hear you. And I believe this is really a passionate thing for you to be excited about a movie saying this," because he's not like that typically when it comes to movies. And he's like, "It was just absolutely incredible." And I said, "Well, what for you was so incredible?" And his words to me were, "It makes me believe everything is possible. It made me believe everything is possible. I believe everything's possible now." And I was like, wow, that's incredible. And actually, by the way, I haven't seen that movie yet. At one point, I'm going to watch it. I was like, wow, that's amazing for him to say that, because I knew he meant that about us. I knew he meant about our connection and our love. And it was such a beautiful, beautiful message. Well, that was amazing. That was wonderful. And then I did not hear from him like he had promised. And so I wrote him an email saying that, "Hey, I hear from you." I hadn't heard from him since that day, and I haven't heard from him since that day. And about a week later, I was getting ready to do my meditation, my evening. So I do one in the morning, I do a long one in the morning, and I do a shorter version at night, but it's still about an hour and a half. And I was sitting on my bed preparing for the meditation, and I called him in. And so it's funny, I know he's there always, but I actually consciously call him, and I try to bring his presence in so that he's consciously with me. So I brought him in, and immediately my heart was just in so much pain. I literally felt like bricks were on my chest. I couldn't breathe. And I got caught up in the pain. Like, my chest was just really heavy, and I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm like, oh my God, is this me? Now, here's what's interesting. A few days earlier, I had a weird episode where I was very dizzy, and I felt like I was having trouble breathing, heart-wise, like pressure in my chest. And so I thought, oh no, that medication they put me on, I don't even think it was a medication. I want to say it was like an herb or something. It was like an herb I was taking, and I had this like reaction to it. And the reaction was a few days earlier, and I thought, oh no, it was a new medication, something specifically for a stomach infection that I had, which, by the way, I've had on and off since August, since I went to the Hamptons. Don't drink the water in the Hamptons if you're in the United States. I was sick, and I thought, oh my gosh, this might be me. And so I was really worried. So I had immediately texted my friend. I said, listen, I think I'm still having effects from the day before, like, a couple days ago with that stuff I tried. And I don't feel very good. Can you send me healing? I said, I'm really scared. Like, I almost feel like I should go to a doctor or to a hospital. And she tuned in. She's like, this is totally not you. This is your twin. This is him. He is in really bad crisis. She goes, I see him in like curled up like a little child, crying, sobbing. And I was very sad. I said, oh my goodness. And I felt a shift, and I realized it wasn't all mine, but I still felt it. And I was so worried. I felt like he had a severe anxiety attack, but then I'm like, oh my gosh, maybe he had a heart attack. So I tried to reach him a couple days later. I just let that go because I needed to heal me because I was in it. So one of the things, I don't know if you know about me, and I don't know if you're experiencing this, but I literally experience every single thing with my twin flame. Like, everything that happens to him, I feel. And it's been like that since I've known him. So when I first met him, I would have tons of knowledge that this was him. I would know this is him. I could feel him. Like, I would know, we would chat online, and I would know, like, I would be like, oh, he's online. And I go online, there he was. It was like, I always knew, I always felt him. I always felt his presence. And our connection was really strong and very clear in terms of, like, this is him, this is me. Well, after 2011, it got stronger and stronger, where we started to blend and merge. So as you all know, if you're merging, you're already merging stuff like before you're physically together. And so we were physically together occasionally. Like, we'd see each other once in a while. It wasn't very often. And we were merging, though. And I would get clear signs of the merging. I would see them in visions. I would get very clear messages that, we are in fact merging, and we share different chakras. And so they were showing me all the time that we shared things. Well, since 2011, it's gotten stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger, so that I don't know where he begins and where I end. And I know some of this stuff I'm sharing with you right now is probably redundant if you've seen some of my previous videos, but some of it is probably not. And I'm sharing more pure stuff from me and my twin to you, but also I feel like I need to. So I don't know, maybe you're my journal today. So it got so strong that I didn't know who was who. And it is so strong that I don't always know who is who. And so when this was happening, I definitely felt like it was him. I felt like he was not okay. So I tried calling. Every time I tried to tune into him, I would cry and I would sob, and I couldn't stay in an okay space, Plus, gradually I was getting sick. But I wasn't getting, like, I don't know, like, I was getting really tired, really lethargic, really heavy. I was getting dizzy spells and stuff. And I know that all sounds like ascension symptoms, but it was more than that. So I tried to call him several times. I've never gotten a return call. I left messages. I even called his office, and his office told me he wasn't in. He wouldn't be in until later in the month, later next month, meaning April. And I tried again and couldn't get him. So I've been trying him, and I can't get him. I've been emailing him, and I can't get him. And I'm worried about him, but I'm not worried. Like, I know that he's ultimately okay, right? He's going to be with me. We're merging. We're together. We're union. And we will be together. So I know ultimately he'll be okay, but I know that emotionally he's not. I know he's going through his own crisis. And that's all heart chakra for him. And when I go into his heart chakra, oh my God, it was so heavy, so painful. And so that was happening. And while that was happening, I started having my own symptoms of, like, really weird dizzy spells and loopiness, almost like confusion, where I wasn't clear on things, and I started canceling clients, and I felt terrible, and I stopped doing videos because I was not feeling good. And it all happened prior to the last video I did. So that's why it was a very short video, because I wasn't feeling 100%. I was better, but for that moment, and I had those days where I was better and I wasn't. And so then as time had gone on, I was not feeling good, and I was having, I was having these weird, like, fainting weird things, and I felt like my blood pressure was wacky. I was, a couple times I tuned in and I felt like, ooh, he's not feeling good. He's on medication. And I know my twin he's probably on medication, because whenever he is, I could feel it in me. And so I tuned in one day and I'm like, oh, this is some of his, but there was some of mine there. So recently I was not good. And so I canceled for, I think, 2-3 weeks of work, and I'm still kind of like recovering, and was about a week ago. Gosh, a week ago maybe? I don't even know, everything blends. I started to be really not okay. And I contacted my functional medicine doctor, who I absolutely love, and she's fabulous. And she's wonderful to reach out through email. She's wonderful to do stuff through phone sessions, and then, a yearly visit in person. But she'd been helping me with the stomach infection that I've had since, I said August, when I was in the Hamptons. The reason I don't recommend going to the Hamptons is drinking the water there had put my system out of balance and actually created some kind of bacterial infection that I've been on and off fighting since August. And we finally found something that was helping. And then that gave me some side effects, and I had to stop it. And then because when you're highly sensitive in tune frequency, medication and herbs and stuff will affect you. And people think, oh, herbs are safe. They are. They're safer than drugs. However, herbs can also be toxic to your system, and they also have side effects because herbs used in a medicinal format are very strong and powerful. So I was taking extra magnesium, but extremely high doses of magnesium to assist with this infection. And what I think we've discovered, because I'm noticing, I stopped it. I've stopped taking magnesium, period. And I know magnesium is necessary for some of us, but sometimes if you're taking really high doses, it's not necessary. And I was taking extremely high doses. And one of the things that I've noticed since I've been off of it, my symptoms seem to be getting better, and I'm not as off as I felt. I'm not as, I feel better. Like, I have more energy. Right now I'm really tired today. This morning I feel like I could sleep another day, but I also did some other stuff that's making that happen. But what I found, based on the symptoms and what was going on with me, is I had a reaction to magnesium toxicity. So I was having toxic doses in my blood that was affecting my heart. So it was lowering my heart rate. And I'm going to a cardiologist to follow up to make sure everything is fine. But the reason I'm sharing all this with you, one, I want to apologize to anybody I had to cancel and reschedule. Please understand. And if I have to cancel and reschedule you, please understand that I am so much better, but I'm still having exhaustion where I get depleted pretty quickly. And I feel like it's because I'm trying to get my energy reserves back up from having a toxicity. It was really scary for me because when I read the symptoms of low heart rate, I was having all of them. And when I read the symptoms of magnesium toxicity, I was having several of them. Not all of them, obviously, because I didn't die. One of the symptoms, one of the extreme cases, you could have kidney failure, you could have cardiac arrest, and you can go into a coma. And I was having a lot of the symptoms, thank God, not those things, but I was having heart stuff, So I thought that was really crazy, right? Well, on the intuitive, spiritual piece of it, my twin is having heart chakra stuff, right? And I believe he had a heart issue, whether it was a heart attack or, maybe a bypass surgery or something. He had something go on with his heart, and that reverberated into my reality, and it manifested by way of having this magnesium issue that caused heart stuff. At least that's what I think is going on. I'll keep you posted. I am going to the doctors for, like I said, following up just to make sure everything's good and better. But wow, so the twin flame connection that we have is so strong and so real and so there that I literally experienced similar to probably what he was experiencing. Not exactly what he was experiencing, but a similar energy. So I was affected by his heart chakra. His heart was very, one of the things with my beloved, he has the biggest, most beautiful heart, and he has so much love inside of him, and he is the kindest, most gentle human. Yes, I know I tease about him because he's a pain in my butt sometimes because he doesn't follow through, and he's stubborn, and he's afraid. He's got a lot of fear. It makes me emotional, and I'm sorry about that. I feel the emotions coming in. I'm not sorry about being emotional, but I'm sorry that I'm emotional with you. His heart is so big and so beautiful. And he's got so much love inside of him. And he's never been able to really express that to anyone until he met me. and he started to express it, and then he got really scared because you cannot just express one emotion. You have to feel them all. So he's been suppressing all this love all these years because he's never been surrounded by love. He's never really had divine unconditional love given to him. And so he suppressed everything. And when he met me, he started to express it, and he started to allow it to come up. But what he suppressed was not just love. He suppressed it, all his fear, all his pain, all his suffering, all the emotions that he'd not been able to handle as he was younger. So all that stuff got suppressed in him. And as he was suppressing all of that, all of it was starting to surface, and that's what his fears were. That's his repelling, right? That was the repelling with me, because he would say to me, "You overwhelm me. I'm so overwhelmed by you." And I would be like, "Oh, I don't like that word. That's not a good word." And he's like, "No, but in a good way, in a good way." And I said, "Okay." I didn't really understand that. And what I realized was he was being overwhelmed by his own emotions, his feelings. He was overwhelming himself. And I was the catalyst because of my love for him and for the connection, the union connection that I had with him. So all of that triggered his breaking open of his heart in many ways. And that was years ago now. And so now here he is. I feel like Spirit is like, well, we're going to take over and help you. So his spirit is like, it is time to really experience love in this life. Stop suppressing. So everything he was suppressing, I think, is coming out. And it's expanding. And so I feel like that is actually why I feel so much in his heart chakra and why it's coming into my reality. We are so connected. We are so in tune with one another, and we are so much always sharing information. And it's been a very interesting experience because of that. And I've always been the aware one, always been aware of everything. He's not been unaware. He just has been pushing it away. And when you shut down your heart and you stop feeling, you stop thinking, and you start to go here and trust your negativity in your brain that tells you this is how it's supposed to be, this is what it's supposed to look like. When you start to trust that and stop listening here, then this gets really, really, really piled up with like energy, right? It gets really, really big. And at some point it's going to explode. And I mean that in the nicest love-centered way. It's going to just come out. It has to, right? So that's what's happening in his heart. And I feel like it's reverberating into my reality. A lot of stuff that happens in my reality reverberates into his. So like all the healing, all the consciousness that I have, all the awareness, all the light I'm bringing in, and all the work that I'm doing is reverberating into his reality. He has not been at the level of understanding of it yet. But remember what I said to you when I started this conversation. At the beginning, he said to me, "I feel you more and more." And now that's not anything new, because he's been feeling me for quite a while. But now he's beginning to feel it and respond to it. So within an hour, he contacted me. And sometimes it's instantaneous. I remember he wrote me an email once saying, "Suddenly I feel you." And literally 3 minutes earlier, I had sent him love. It's where he is, and he's learning to navigate his energy body and his energy reality, and he's learning to navigate his awareness. And so I really believe that when Spirit said this year that they're going to assist the divine masculine in awakening and moving forward and to stepping into who they truly are, and to assist the divine feminine to do the same thing, that they're going to do whatever it takes to bring that awareness and that reality into being. And so my sharing my story with you today, I hope helps you to understand that if you have not heard from your divine masculine, or you have and you're not really sure what's going on, recognize they're going through massive, massive change right now. And like, I believe that, not having contact with my beloved is probably in our best interest right now, because one, I need to heal whatever's going on with me. And he needs to heal whatever's going on with him. But we need to come together in union, in a place of love, not out of fear, not out of clinging, and not out of neediness, and certainly not out of control. So when I say that, when we doubt, we want to control everything. We want to control the outcome. We want to know this is how it's going to happen, what it's going to look like. So doubt actually triggers the need to control. And so if we can, this is kind of going all the way back to the doubt that I talked about earlier. If we can learn to let go of doubt and trust have trust and faith in the universe, trust and faith in our divine love, trust and faith in our own divinity, and trust and faith that this is happening, this is real, and it's really happening. If we can trust it, and we don't need that physical proof all the time, which, by the way, I love to have. Often I'll say, Spirit, I need a sign, give me a sign, and I'll get them. I will totally get them. I went through, I was away this weekend, so I've been sick, but I had an event planned that I was attending, and a beautiful soul friend of mine had paid for me to go to this event, and I ended up staying there because I knew I wasn't feeling well, and there was no way. It was like a 4.5-hour drive. And it was like a 3.5-hour to 4.5-hour drive. And I knew that if I went and I would drive back, I would not be okay because I had been sick. So I went away, and it was actually the best thing I did for me because it was so recharging and rejuvenating for me, and it brought peace to me. That weekend gave me renewal and hope of, everything is where we need to be. If we're in doubt and we're in needing to control that outcome, and we're needing to control our twins' experience, meaning I want him to call me, I want her to be here, whatever that is for you, we're not trusting our spirit. And I trusted so much this weekend because I didn't feel well and I was worried. And I have to tell you, I was covered the whole weekend. I was safe the entire weekend. So many beautiful things happened for me, even on my trip back. It was so beautiful. And the whole purpose of me telling you that is I hadn't asked for a sign. I asked for one on the way down, and I got a few bits and pieces. Well, quite a few, actually. But on the way back, I had to go through a town that is my twin's name. I'm like, seriously? But not only the town was my twin's name, the county was my twin's name. And all these things were my twin's name because that in the road I was on was my twin's name. And that was because I needed that confirmation, apparently. Or I'm trusting spirit, and that's confirmation that all is well and all will be as it is meant to be. So my message to all of you with the end of this Mercury retrograde is really look at where the doubt is surfacing. Who in your life is anchoring that into you? And when I say that, there are people in our lives that have their own kind of doubt. And you know what? Step away from them. Step away. If they're not trusting their source of energy, their own, their love, their divine, their God within them, and they are putting their ducks in a row purposely because they want to make sure everything happens the way they think it's supposed to, and they're not in the energy of trusting and having faith, really step away and look to see if they're affecting you. Because honestly, I notice people in my life affect me, and I have to stay in my sacred space every day because if I'm not there, I can't do my work. And one of the other things that I want you to recognize also is that with our energy and our beloved and our union, it's so imperative right now that we absolutely trust who we are, because that is like the key to union. That is the key to coming together as one. And trust your beloved. They are working on themselves. They are doing what they need to do in the way they can do it. They might not show it to you. And I have to tell you, the times that I've not spoken to my beloved, he has made leaps and bounds when we have spoken. And as painful as it might be for me not to be with him at this moment, and to not have him here with me at this moment, and to not know what's going on with him, I'm having faith and trusting in spirit that all is in divine and perfect order, as my guides often say to me. I have these beautiful beings of light, the Arcturian masters of light that I work with, as well as the Pleiadian emissaries of light, and the Twinflame Collective, of course, all of them, and the Ascended Masters, they're all here. But I work with them, and I'm so blessed every day that they're with me, because they always remind me, even if I choose not to listen, even if I choose to get into my funk and feel my crap, because the reality is I have to feel it, right? And we all do. So I have these beautiful masters of light who often say to me, all is in divine and perfect order. And oh gosh, once upon a time, I lived that every single moment of every single day. But then I had my car accident and I took away from that and I stopped trusting that all was in divine and perfect order, because I had gone into a lower vibration in human pain and suffering that I was in. And it's been, several years now since my car accident. It's been about 4 years, and I have like come out of it over the last year and a half, and really have come out of it, and I'm growing and growing and growing in my light quotient once again. And so my guides will remind me it's all in divine and perfect order. And I want you to all realize that, I value you so much, because you being here on my journey with me has given me support and given me love, and has assisted me, especially during my times of doubt, because it's brought me back into, no, I trust, I have faith. So I really encourage you to like look inside of you and, see where all these doubts are coming up, and one by one, get rid of them. And see if there's people in your life. See what is bringing more doubt to you, and clear it away. And you can't say your twin flame. Yes, I can say my twin flame often will give me reason to doubt, but they're not the reason for doubting, really. They give me reason to look at my truth and trust. That's how I'm going to see it from now on. So I hope you do too. And I just want to share with all of you a couple things that are going on. I will be teaching my manifestation in the 5th dimension class very shortly. That will either be a pop-up during the month of May, so stay tuned by watching my videos or signing up for my emails. I have an energy body upgrade coming up on May 5th of this week, so that will be a really powerful one, 5/5 energy. And we will have a Twin Flame group meditation on May 10th, and I believe it is at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time on May 5th, 2017. So if you can attend, that would be wonderful. I'd love to have you join me. And so that usually we'll have a channel, a message, and a meditation. And it will be available for purchase after the meditation. But if you would like to get in on the meditation, if you are not able to attend because you are working or the time zone doesn't work for you, what I would recommend is that you sign up, register, and I will send you the link to the meditation afterwards for the whole webinar. So that will be in this link as well, the links below. And please do contact me directly at either EstaRa at soulstarhealing.com or April at soulstarhealing.com. I'm trying to transition over to EstaRa, but that's not happening yet. So in the moment, I ask that you email April at soulstarhealing.com. And I had somebody working on my website. Unfortunately, on her end, probably due to Mercury retrograde, something interfered, so it is not finished. And quite honestly, I've had a lot of complaints about accessing stuff on my website. It's not as easy as it used to be when I had my old website up. So it's like in the in-between stages. Please forgive me for that. If there's any information you need or any questions you have, please contact me directly through email. Allow 24 hours to get back to you because of not feeling well lately. I've not been really on top of email, so I apologize for that. Also, I have to catch up since I've been away for the weekend. Please feel free to contact me with questions, and I will try to answer them in a blog. And I hope this helped you in some way, and I send you lots of love and light, and I promise to come back with, more information, because my guides are really active around me today, and I need to get going. I have an appointment this morning. But I wanted to reach out to all of you and let you know that I am here. I didn't disappear on you, and forgive me for that time lapse. Okay, sending you love and light. Namaste for a blessed union, and please, 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 please work on removing all doubt. So it is.